Hello, this is Ms. Mazoo with a lesson on transitive and intransitive verbs. Verbs are words used to show action or a state of being. Every sentence must have a verb or it is not a complete thought. To lay some foundation for our terms today, I'd like to talk about the prefix trans. Trans comes from the Latin and means across. Many familiar words come with this prefix. Transportation means the method of being carried across land, sea, or air by various means: car, bus, train, plane, etc. Transatlantic flight means to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. So when we speak of a transitive verb, it means an action verb that carries across to a person, place, thing, or idea. In other words, to be transitive, the verb has to have an object that receives the action of the verb. If I said, I hit, it doesn't make sense. I need an object to hit, hopefully not a person. I hit the ball. I hit the jackpot. When we have an object receiving the action of the verb and thus becoming an object of the sentence, it's called a transitive verb. However, if I use an action verb and it can stand alone without an object, or simply does not have an object, it is called an intransitive verb. For example, I sang. We understand what the action of singing entails and don't need an object. However, if I added an object, I sang the song, the sentence now has a transitive verb. Because linking verbs do not have objects and just describe the subject, they are always considered intransitive verbs. If you have a transitive verb, there are two rules to remember. They always come after action verbs, and they always have an object that receives the action of the verb. Caution: please be aware that if you have an action verb and add a prepositional phrase, you do not make it transitive. If you are not sure what prepositions are, please review my preposition lesson. Being able to spot prepositional phrases helps identify subjects and verbs of sentences. So, for example, if I said, I ran in a marathon, the verb ran is intransitive because the prepositional phrase in a marathon follows the verb. However, if we said, I ran a race, the verb is transitive. Let's take some more examples for practice. Use the verb build, help, and play as both transitive and intransitive verbs. The first example on the whiteboard is, please build a tree fort. Build would be a transitive verb. Why? Because the verb build has an object. It carries across to the object a tree fort. Can we build in that tree would be intransitive. Why? Because what follows the verb phrase can build is a prepositional phrase in that tree, which is not a direct object of the sentence. Don't confuse objects of prepositional phrases with objects of verbs. The next example, help your dad with the tree fort, would be transitive because the verb help has a direct person object that is being helped, your dad. If you said, can I help, the verb phrase can help does not have an object that is being helped by I, the subject. The verb phrase can help, in this case, is intransitive. Finally, let's take the verb play. You can play chess in the fort when it's finished. Here, play is a transitive verb because it has an object, chess. However, if we remove the object chess and just say, You can play in the fort when it's built. The verb play now becomes intransitive. What follows the verb phrase can play is a prepositional phrase in the fort. Remember not to confuse objects of prepositional phrases with objects of verbs. So to review, objects of prepositional phrases do not follow transitive verbs and are therefore intransitive. However, objects of verbs do follow transitive verbs. To learn more about verbs and other parts of speech, please visit my website at www.mazoozoo.com. That's MAZOOSZOO. There you will find parts of speech songs, more videos on verbs, and videos on other parts of speech. Don't let the 8 parts of speech trouble you. Take one at a time and enjoy the journey. Happy learning!